What's good, peeps? Welcome to another episode of Ade Gman. Should we get straight to it?
Oh, yeah, we get straight to it.
Let's get straight. Oh, by the way, we are very close to committing to that November 22nd Benavidez versus Yard live watch along. If you didn't watch the video where I said it previously, I can't remember when I said it. Me and G-Man are going to do it together. So how we do the look back is basically how we're going to do the live. So it should be fun. We'll let you know once I know that I'm not going to Saudi, but I think I'm going to stick back home. So if I am back home, we're going to do the live watch along. So yeah, make sure you get involved in that one. All right, let's get straight to it. I was in Manchester. Was it the AO or the Co-op?
It was the Co-op.
Was it the Co-op live? That was that. It was the Co-op. Main event: Joshua Buatsi versus Zach Parker. You're knocking in your head already.
I still can't believe what I seen. That's the worst I ever seen Joshua Buatsi.
Okay, I thought you were going to say that was the worst robbery you've ever seen. It ain't that
bad.
Okay, I'm about to say, yeah.
I've seen worse.
Oh, much worse. Yeah, much worse.
In fact, you could argue Zach Parker, when he got the win over Darryl Williamson, was worse.
Yeah.
But it was still a bad decision. I mean, I think I actually think I had the same scorecard as Carl Frampton, Adam Smith, Darren Barker, everyone had Zach Parker winning that fight. I gave Joshua Buatsi 2 rounds. I gave him the 6th and the 9th. That's it. Every other round, Zach Parker.
Ouch.
Every other round, Zach. That's why when I heard 95, I was like, say what?
Can I play devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
And this isn't because Buatsi's my friend. It might be a little bit. But you know when a favourite, you know when an underdog's doing better than you expect? I feel like some people automatically give the underdog the rounds just because the favourite's not doing as good as you thought and the underdog's doing a bit better. Like, were there clear Zach Parker rounds?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think Zach Parker did very much in terms of scoring punches.
I thought he did more than enough in terms of scoring punches. I get what
So
you're
you think
saying.
he outlanded Buatsi convincingly?
Convincingly, yeah.
Okay.
Convincingly. I think that Zach Parker didn't fight an eye-friendly fight, let's just say. But I've seen fighters like Kid Galahad go in as the underdog, like against Josh Warrington, and try and do what Zach Parker did. But Josh Warrington was landed at the same time.
Cool.
So you could easily say, right, well, he's outboxing him, but he's still landing. So Zach Parker was getting touched now and again, but it wasn't anything crazy. Yeah. Joshua Buatsi's feet look so slow.
And I will say this just to kind of make sure everyone knows. I thought Buatsi lost the fight as well. So I'm not, even though, again, me and Buatsi are close, I'm not going to just pretend to you that I think Buatsi won that fight. I was shocked. When the scorecards are read out, as soon as they go that close, I almost by default know which way it's swinging. But I was shocked because I think I gave Buatsi maybe a couple more rounds than you did. So at best, I'm saying I think I gave him 4 rounds. And
even then, it's still a Zach Parker win.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy decision. I just can't understand it. I really can't understand it.
We can't understand the decision or Buatsi's performance?
Both. I mean, I can't understand how you could, everyone ringside looking can say Zach Parker won this fight. But I've seen Zach Parker not look good in fights before. And he looked all right. He didn't look at it out of this world in that Buatsi fight. But I've never seen Buatsi look that bad. I don't know what happened. Is it the inactivity? Is it the Callum Smith fight? The damage from that? But that's the worst I've ever seen him look.
Before we dive deep into Buatsi, because I do think that's going to take a lot of this video because I feel like there's so many different ways it can go. On the judges, what needs to happen here? Because I feel like for what is the most dangerous sport in the world, for a sport that has so many implications, for the loser in terms of your money goes down, it is almost this snakes and ladders effect where, unfortunately, if you lose, you do go back down, don't you? I almost feel like the judges should be held accountable for decisions like this because they change a fighter's life. Look at Jack Cattrall. That's a great example. That Josh Taylor one, he would have been undisputed. In the rematch, he would have got 7 figures. And I don't know if Jack Cattrall will ever be a world champion.
No,
and I don't know if he's going to have a 7-figure fight again. So it can change your life. I almost feel like judges need to be held accountable more.
One of them was in that fight. Ian John Lewis, he was downgraded. I think something like that needs to happen. I think that what a better thing to do would be have the judges sit, if it's the board, if it's a commission in America, have the judge actually sit down and explain the scorecard, actually put them under scrutiny, because they can do a bad decision and then they can just sail off into the sunset onto the next one. If they're actually open to scrutiny, be it from the commission, be it from the board, I think they'll be like, well, hang on a minute, I can score this a certain way, but I'm going to have to answer for these rounds. Okay, I'll watch them even clearer. Yeah. I'll look for it.
I almost feel like they are, I don't want to get in trouble here, but they're almost like faceless cowards. And what I mean by that is a ref, so like Howard Foster, right? Yeah. Look how much digging out people give to Howard Foster when he comes in because you know it's Howard Foster. You know you can put the face to the name. I know all the judges, don't get me wrong, but no one else does.
Yeah.
I know them by name now because I see them all the time. You're right. They just literally pack up, do that, and walk off.
Yeah.
And that is literally it. Whereas Howard Foster, a bit like Ian John Lewis, gets so much stick, right? Because, there he is.
Yeah,
There's the guy that did it. You know who it is,
yeah.
right? Victor Loughlin. There's Victor Loughlin again. Well, a lot of these judges just vanish.
Yeah,
that's it.
There's very few judges you could actually look at on TV and say, without even showing who it is, be like, who the hell is that? Howard Foster, you don't need the name.
Yeah.
Victor Loughlin, do you know? Oh, that's
Steve
Howard
Gray.
Foster.
You just
Steve
know who
Gray,
they are.
Exactly.
So when they make a mistake, it's highlighted and it's magnified. Yet the judges make way more mistakes than those guys do. But yet those guys are the ones that get the stick for the small mistakes or just the human error, like jumping in a bit early, right? And things like that, where the judges who sit on their comfy seats scoring these fights and changing people's lives, they've got the power to ruin a fighter or to improve a fighter. And most times it's to ruin a fighter.
Yes, to ruin them. And I don't understand how you have these 3 judges at ringside. They're sit no different than where you guys are, the broadcasters are, and all the broadcasters could be in agreement about this round or that round. And then the judges, who is the supposed expert, is like, no, I scored it to that guy. You're like, how is it that everyone at ringside has it this way, but yet for some reason you have it that way? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. All right, let's talk Joshua Buatsi.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I fought the fight of the year against Callum Smith, so I have no qualms about that. Callum Smith, I think, is a fantastic fighter and obviously had almost an Indian summer performance. It was that good. So I have no issue with Buatsi in that fight because I actually thought Buatsi was digging deep. It was a painful fight. I mean, these guys were kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
so there's no issues in a loss. Whereas this one's a win on paper, or at least on the record books, but obviously there are issues with that performance. What was the biggest issue for you with how Buatsi performed?
How laxed he was. He just didn't seem to have any urgency in him. It was like, you should be aware, he fought like someone who didn't care if he won or lost. That's the best way, because Buatsi's always been aggressive. Barry Jones was saying on commentary, this isn't the Buatsi I remember from the amateurs. Because he was always aggressive. When he was early in his career at Sky, look how many first round knockouts he had, because he just come out like a bat out of hell, throwing headshots, body shots for days.
Is that not going up in level though? If you go up in level, isn't that going to slow down? Because ultimately you're in there against guys now that have winning records and are good.
A lot of fighters have gone up, like have come in with that style. They've gone up the levels, but they've still been like that until, okay, they've been hit with something, or maybe they're realizing this guy's a little bit better, but they normally start off fast. They don't just kind of stay at that pace the whole way through. There's been a noticeable drop off in Joshua Buatsi in terms of doing that. The only time I've seen it is against Callum Smith, where he physically had to, because Smith was just giving as good as he got.
Yeah. I
was worried about what I seen from Buatsi. His feet looked slow. He just seemed to have no urgency. He just fought like someone who was just like, all right, I'm here. I want to win, but I don't care.
I was in the gym yesterday and I was listening to some motivational thing. That's what I do, people. When I'm in the gym, I listen to motivational stuff. And there was like a 20-second piece of Teddy Atlas screaming to Timothy Bradley, say, we're firemen.
I remember that.
Yeah,
yes,
we're firemen.
We train in the heat.
Yeah, we train in the heat. And I'm like, that's what Buatsi needs.
Yes.
Because I almost feel like Buatsi, and he knows this, so hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn, is so laid back.
He's very laid back.
Very laid back. Yeah. Virgil Hunter is, I think, in the corner, very laid back. Sometimes you need someone just to light your ass up a bit. And Virgil doesn't do that. He ain't going to scream and shout. And you can give all the tactics in the world and it can sound all wonderful. But sometimes you need to tell a fighter, you're fucking losing.
Yep.
Get out there and do something about it. And there is no urgency from his corner. And look, ultimately, it's on Buatsi as well. He's a world level fighter. He's an Olympic bronze medalist. But sometimes you look at your corner and say, okay, what? Tell me what to do here now, because this guy's fallen on the ground. What should I do? And I felt like he was getting nothing from the corner. And to go further to it, I don't like the link up with Virgil anymore.
Neither do I.
I got it initially because Andre Ward, like heavyweight, I kind of understood. And I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. But I don't like it anymore. And if I'm Joshua Buatsi, I really sit down and think about that.
Well, I think that the link up hasn't worked for a variety of reasons. As you said, Virgil is quite a laid back individual as well. And in a fight like that, you need a Teddy Atlas. You need someone who's just going to, shout at you, Angie Dundee, you're blowing it now, son. But as well as that, Andre Ward was always a bit of a slickster. He would box you, he would fight up close, but he wasn't an all-out aggressor. That's what Buatsi is. So you're taking an aggressive fighter, trying to put an Andre Ward style on him, and I just don't think it works.
Yeah.
I think Buatsi needs an aggressive trainer. I think he needs someone like a Don Charles. Might be a good fit for him. Like Don Charles would tell him straight up, you're losing. What the hell are you doing? You need someone like that. You need someone like maybe even a Ben Davison. Someone like that who'll just tell him out straight, this is what it is, this is what's happening, you got to change it up.
Yeah.
And they won't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, no, that's what he needs because when I was watching that and I was speaking to, we've got a mutual friend and I was speaking to that mutual friend today and I was like, when I watch Buatsi, I'm watching his opponents thinking, what would the other world level guys do to said opponent? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, what would Bivol do to Zach Parker right now? Oh. Like, he'd figure that out, that weird style in a minute. I'm like, okay, so you want to do this when I do? No, okay. What would Beterbiev? I'm genuinely thinking that. No, honestly, I'm thinking, what would Morel? What would Benavidez? What would Yard even to an extent? I'm like trying to compare what would the other top guys do. And I genuinely believe all the other top guys are getting rid of this guy mid to late, if that. Do you know what I mean? Bivol will probably not, because Bivol doesn't really get rid of fighters, but it'll embarrass him. And that's unfortunately, if you're Buatsi, you have to understand that we're giving you stick because we have you up here.
Oh, yeah.
If you were just a mid-level fighter, we'd probably just even skate over this. But because you're considered a top-tier fighter, we have to kind of be honest with it.
Yeah, if he was considered, in amongst the domestic level fighters, the Ezra Taylors, the Lewis Edmondsons, we'd just be saying, okay, you lost it really, but you got the blah, blah. Now, we see him as up there with the best, as someone who should be challenging for world titles. And we look at that performance against, and bear in mind, this is what, Zach Parker's second fight at light heavyweight. He's not even that big. And you're just looking, thinking, what has gone wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I think Zach Parker's had a few more. I think he jumped up after John Ryder, didn't he? So I think he's had two or three.
I think he jumped up, went back down, and then came back up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're going to do our top 10 light heavyweights, by the way. And Zach Parker might not even be in mine, if I'm honest with you. So that kind of says where I think Zach is and where Joshua should be. He mentioned in the ring after something along the lines of, I respect everyone that's had a defeat, which suggests to me that the Callum Smith fight, although physically demanding and painful, mentally it took a lot out of him as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think, not that he had demons in the ring, but I do think getting over a defeat, I think we play it down how difficult that is.
It has to be. I mean, remember George Groves when he lost to Carl Froch? The first thing he thought of, he even said this after he was stopped, wasn't the stoppage. It's like, crap, I lost my own. So a lot of these fighters, they do take a lot of stock in it, and it's like, oh my God, now I've lost. How do I get over this? Even if it's not physically, that bad in terms of the punishment you've taken, it's just like, crap, I'm a human. Someone's beaten me. So it must be a lot to get over, especially when you've had your whole career, you've just sailed through it. You've never really had that many tests. You've had some tricky fights, but you've always come out the other end. Yeah, must be hard to deal with.
Can I give me your honest thoughts on this? How good do you think Buatsi is? And I'm talking about go through his whole catalogue. So because I think people are like screaming and shouting because they expect and want more. Is there more? Like, what is he to you?
I always thought Buatsi had the potential to win a world title before we realised how good Bivol and Beterbiev are. I mean, it's hard. You could be great and not win a world title with those two in the division. Agreed. But I thought he had at least the chance to be up there with the likes of the Dave Benavidez, the Joe Smiths. I don't know if he has that now. Yeah.
My concern for Buatsi is that, you're right, it was always Beterbiev Bivol. And then I thought, okay, Buatsi's there and he could maybe potentially challenge. The problem is, because there's been a wait now to get him a world title, all of a sudden, Callum Smith jumped in, Benavidez has jumped in, Kataev is there, Morel's there, we're going to see Smith versus Morel. So all of a sudden, there's before you even get to Bivol and Beterbiev, now you got to get through another queue of guys.
Exactly. There was a stage maybe 2-3 years ago at light heavy where you had those two guys on top, fair enough. But then you kind of had Yard, you had Dan Aziz, you had Buatsi. And they were kind of the next best because he was really 10 on the ground. But then all these guys move up. You got guys like Vodsek coming out of retirement. And now you're like, oh, wow, this division has absolute sharks in it. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. So now it becomes even harder. Now, where do you fit in?
Yeah, the reason I asked you the question about how good do you think Buatsi is because I've always wanted to see Buatsi. For me, I've always thought Buatsi was the guy. Coming out of the Olympics, I was like, this guy, the fact he doesn't shave his beard, then shave, he was just a throwback looking guy for me. Doesn't talk too much, doesn't do social media like that, just fights. Very reminiscent of like a 70s, 80s fighter. But then I wanted to see him blow away the domestic competition, guys that I think are British and European level. And he never really did that. Richards, Aziz, as example. So I still believe that there's a very, very, very good fighter in there. But he's yet to show me that he's the world level fighter that I think he was going to be, because he hasn't blown away the guys that I thought he might have blown away.
The one thing I've always felt about Buatsi, and you hit it there, coming out of Rio 2016, in all the Olympians and all the world champions we've had out of that team, everyone said he was the one who had the most potential. And I just wonder, did maybe when he was at Matchroom, did his management team, did they move him too slow? Because he fought the likes of Reynold Quinlan and people like that, when you really could look at Joshua Buatsi back then and say, you could put him in with a Craig Richards now. Instead, they waited from like 2018, 2019. They could have done it then. 2022, by the time and you're only stepping up against Marco Kalic, 4 years after turning pro. It's a little, I thought they waited too long. Yeah. And maybe he stagnated.
I don't think he's had enough pro fights, actually. When I think about it, I don't, like, when did he turn pro? 2017, so we're talking 8 years. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think Buatsi's had like 19 fights or something like that.
Thereabouts, just 19, 20.
It's not enough.
It isn't enough, isn't it?
No, it's not enough. When you think about it, that's not enough. That's 2 a year.
That's
really.
That's
an average of 2 a year. Yeah. And when you're coming through, really and truly, you're fighting people that you're blowing away. So you really could have 4 or 5 fights in a calendar year. You could do that. And he's not done that. So I just feel like maybe we're still seeing someone try and find out who he is. But I think the most important thing is he needs to get that coaching team set up, because I think he has all the potential. I really do, by the way. But I think he's been held back when I just think he's a ferocious son of a bitch.
He absolutely is.
Let him go and kill some people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let him go and let him figure it out. And his style is his style now. But honestly, just light him up and let him go. You know, like the kind of the way, like when I see Daniel Dubois, and Daniel's going to win some and lose some, but I almost feel like he's a pit bull waiting to go. Like, it's almost like the referee can't say fight quick enough, or because he's like, oh, and then he just goes. And I think Buatsi needs to be a bit like that, because I think he could damage a lot of the light heavyweights. But for now, we'll see. Sticking with the light heavyweights, Lyndon Arthur, I thought looked really good against Bradley Ray. Yeah. Considering what happened in that second round.
Exactly. That was a heavy knockdown. Wasn't even like a flash knock. He was hurt by that. That was heavy. It was phenomenal. I think he was hurt a few other times as well.
He was hurt. I think Bradley's steam started ending or dwindling from round 6 onwards. But from rounds 1 to 6, Ray just couldn't stop catching him.
No, he couldn't.
And it wasn't just a case of catching, it was hurting him.
Hurting him bad.
All the time. But then that experience and that thing about a jab taking you around the world was so true, because his jab is phenomenal.
Arguably the best in British boxing.
Yeah.
Arguably, because it's Anthony Yard hadn't an answer for it. None of them did. And Anthony Yard had to just say, right, I'll just be aggressive. That's the only way I can out-jab you. Yeah. It's phenomenal. Shows the work he's done with Pat Barrett. It shows the work he's put in over the last couple of years. Even in that loss to Anthony Yard, the trilogy fight, he was doing really well. Really, really well. Yeah. Considering how the rematch went.
Yeah. There's that experience he's gained from losses. Losing to Bivol. It's okay, but I went 12 with Bivol. I went 12 with Bivol. I went 12 with the greatest light heavyweight of this era. Didn't embarrass me. Yes, I was getting busted up, but didn't embarrass me. But it was the Yard one. Because there were moments in there where if he believed in himself a bit more, he could have beaten Yard.
I thought that. I think the commentators were even surprised early on in that fight. They were like, Lyndon Arthur's winning this fight.
Yeah.
And I think the gas tank faded a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think he probably still had those demons of the rematch of how quick it ended. But I thought that was a winnable fight. Yeah. Because he did so well.
I thought he did really well. Bradley Ray will come again, but Lyndon Arthur being a European champion,
brilliant.
Again, that propels him to something.
Well, I was thinking of this the other day, right? Although Anthony Yard won the trilogy, Anthony Yard hasn't won anything like an EBU. That's a full EBU title. If you think about it like this, Lyndon Arthur, although he's lost and he lost to Bivol, that's better than any title Yard's won, an EBU title.
And by the way, not just EBU, IBO as well.
IBO
so
as well.
He's been an IBO world champion. You're right, EBU. I mean, it's not. That's a decent career.
That's a great career. A lot of fighters. If you said to a lot of fighters, you're turning pro, you maybe don't have the best amateur background, but you're going to win an EBU and an IBO. They'd be like, give me that.
Yeah. And what is he, 33, 34?
34.
If he is looking after himself now, because I think most fighters, when I speak to them now, especially guys in their mid-30s, they don't drink. They're very on it now. They're very, very healthy. Food's good. Sleeping's good. If he can look after himself, a bit like Craig Richards and Dan Aziz do, you can actually go into your mid to late 30s and start to really earn some money and have some good fights.
Becca Husband's in his late 30s. Looks like he's in his mid-20s.
Good shout.
Looks he's the energy of someone in his mid-20s.
Good shout, good shout. Did you watch the Liam Cameron fight? I don't know if you watched it, Troy Jones.
I did. It was, I thought Troy Jones won the fight.
Did
I really did. I thought he looked so much better.
Yeah, it's a shame that.
I know.
That's now a couple of big defeats for him. Ezra Taylor and now Liam Cameron.
And he should have won that fight.
Should have won that fight, so it's a bit disappointing. All right, away from that, let's talk about the big man, Anthony Joshua.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about him. Because I don't really like talking about him unless something comes up because I don't just want to do videos just for the sake of talking about AJ. But Eddie's come out again and spoken and said there's a good chance AJ fights this year. Initially, people were like, okay, the Ghana card, he's not going to fight on that card. We'll talk about that card a bit later. And now I saw Spencer Oliver did Talk Boxing the other day. He had Simon Jordan with him and Paul Smith. And he kept on mentioning the Inoue fight card in Saudi Arabia. And AJ being, I don't know if he's co-main or undercard, but AJ having a knock on that.
It would make sense because it's that card is look, we love Inoue, we love Nakatani, but it's a very much an Asian heavy fight.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot of Asian fans watching that. You'll have the hardcores in the UK and US, but it doesn't appeal to the broader casual like so many of these Riyadh shows do. AJ on that undercard, I mean,
takes it to another level.
There you go, boom.
Yeah, takes it to another level.
It doesn't have to be, because it's an undercard fight. It doesn't have to be against a top tier opponent. Even if it was like a Tony Oka or someone like that, boom, take my money.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Tony Oka because I now believe that has to be the man.
It has to.
That has to be because there's a lot of talk about Tony Oka versus Caballero. That's obviously now died.
When we seen I was like, that's definitely who he's fighting.
So as soon as that, I'm like, it has to be Tony Oka.
Yeah.
I pray to God this isn't another false dawn because these AJ coming back things, I feel like honestly for the last 5 months.
Oh, that's all we've been hearing.
All been hearing.
He isn't.
Yeah, it's like September. No, December. Oh, no. February.
And then back to December.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, it's going one way or the other here.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him out before the end of the year. Look, I'm not expecting him to be in there against anybody great, especially if Eddie Hearn, as he said, is going to be an undercard fight. Okay, fair enough. You know, you're not selling him as top of the bill, as in this, that, and the other. It's a confidence builder. I don't begrudge anyone that. So, but I'm very interested to see how he looks.
Be very interesting, his opponent. And what I mean is that if you get the call to fight AJ, ultimately, it's red panty night, right? I mean, it's like winning the lottery because you're going to make 7 figures.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone that fights AJ is making very, very high 6 figures or 7. I'll say the last 10 opponents, I'll say 90% of them have made 7 figures.
Oh, God, yeah.
You're not making 7 figures this time round. You're not going to get undercard AJ. Even AJ's not going to be making his usual paycheck. So you certainly aren't making your usual paycheck. So I wonder about the incentive if you get the call to fight AJ because you're not going to be making the type of money that you're used to be making with an AJ phone call.
I think the incentive is if I beat him,
we go again,
and we get a big payday. And also, I don't know what he's going to be like. I'm going to jump at the chance because he's come off an injury, he's come off a knockout, and he's come off a year and a bit inactivity. I'll have you.
Fact.
That's what you're going to be thinking.
Yeah, you're getting AJ where mentally he's at his most vulnerable.
Exactly.
You're right. By the time it rolls around, it would have been at the ring 15 months, there or thereabouts, and he's coming off a knockout defeat and an injury.
Do you remember when he fought Kubrat Pulev in 2020?
I certainly do.
Pulev was his mandatory, I think, in 2017, and he was always kind of hemming and hawing about the AJ fight. Once AJ lost to Ruiz and then beat him, Pulev was like, give me that fight.
Yeah.
Give me that fight. Because he thought, and he didn't even fight like his normal self. He was like, I'm going to knock you out. Because he thought AJ was there for the taking.
I saw your video. Again, you've been doing loads of videos, as per usual. Ben Davison. You seem to suggest that AJ is going to leave Ben Davison and he's now training with Alexander Usyk. Your sources are what?
The Ring Magazine.
Okay.
The Ring Magazine. There's an article from the Ring Magazine which is stating that AJ is on one of his training tours. Remember how he's done a few of them where he's gone to this camp, he's gone to that camp? Well, apparently the rumor mill is that he's over in Valencia, which is where Team Usyk based their training camp. Now, Usyk has different trainers, so I don't know which one he's necessarily training with, but that is the rumor, that apparently, he's over there seeing how it goes. He may go with Ben Davison, he may stay with Ben Davison. Derek James, they're still on good terms. Who knows who he'd go with? But for me personally, if AJ's coming back for this fight, whoever trains him, so be it. But if the end goal is Tyson Fury, I personally wouldn't have Ben Davison training him for that fight.
Why?
I think Ben and Tyson are too close.
Okay. So you say that as though you think Ben would want Fury to win?
Well, put it like this,
Or he's more friendly with Fury than he is AJ, although he's been longer with AJ training now?
Well, let me put it to you like this, right? So when AJ, before he lost to Dubois, when he started being trained by Ben Davison, I think it was after the Otto Valine fight, people, I think it was either Charlie Parsons, IFL was one of them, said to Ben Davison, so if AJ fights Tyson Fury, would you train him? And he just said, well, that's a silly question. No, it's not. And you didn't answer it. So it's a simple yes or no. and you're reluctant to say yes or no. So that tells me, Ben Davison is even thinking, God, if this does happen, what do I do?
I've always said, and I don't know if Team AJ were very happy with me, but I remember saying when AJ lost to Alexander Usyk the second time, bear in mind how good, and we've seen now Alexander Usyk light everyone up. That needs to go down as one of AJ's best performances, even in defeat.
Even
right?
in defeat.
Who was his trainer?
Robert Garcia.
I've always said AJ should have stuck with him.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened in camp. I don't know the reason why, because it was one and done. But can you imagine if AJ had stuck with him, where AJ would be now with Robert Garcia? Robert Garcia's trainer of the year last year.
Trainer of the year last year. We did a look back on that show. And the confidence AJ had, even in rounds, because there was rounds he was winning clearly. And we were like, we didn't even remember how good it was. Yeah. And you're like, this AJ had confidence. He
lost
had
that fight in the last 3 rounds.
Literally, because it was neck and neck up until Usyk just took over the championship rounds, as he always does. And I was like, God, if we got that AJ, he could absolutely, that AJ would be Fury. That would be most of these heavyweights.
I'm telling you now. And even his size, the weight, everything was
such good shape.
It was fantastic. And I think what people remember from that fight, unfortunately, is what happened post-fight. Exactly. I don't think people remember what happened in fight. Again, just because we did the look back recently, we have a very good memory of how good AJ looked. So look, again, what I was trying to get at is that I don't like the idea of switching trainers, because I think it's difficult to remove everything one trainer taught you and then learn everything a new trainer's teaching you. But if there is one trainer he could go back to, I would love it to be Robert Garcia.
So would I.
Because I think Robert Garcia tells it how it is, has got killers in his camp.
Yeah.
Killers. A lot of these young Mexicans that he's got in those camp are killers. So AJ's around those. And I'm very much an iron sharpens iron thing.
Exactly.
So and by the way, I don't mind him going to train with Usyk either, by the way. No. If you're never going to fight him again, I don't mind you training with him.
And if you think about it like this, right? If he does plan on fighting Tyson Fury, I mean, who better to instruct you and to come up with a game plan than the team who've beaten Tyson Fury twice? I know AJ is different to Usyk, but there's things I'm sure they know Tyson does that even AJ can exploit, and they'll just say, oh, when he does this, Alexander just threw this shot to the body. There you go. You do the same.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, you do want to go and see what someone's doing in their camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to see what you're doing that's different from what I'm doing, because I know AJ is very analytical when it comes to his camp, very. And I think he wants to go and say, okay, let me go and, why not? If you get an invite from an all-time great, the best fighter of this generation, as far as I'm concerned, and he said, come and have a look at what I do in my camp, you don't say no.
Yeah, you don't say no.
You don't say no. You put your ego to one side. And if you really are wanting to do this sport for a couple more years and become world champion, which doesn't involve having to fight Usyk, I see no problem in trying to learn from the great man. All right, let's stick with the big boys. Dillian Whyte, or let me start with the right name, Chisora versus Whyte, isn't happening.
I know.
Has it been confirmed?
I think pretty much.
Okay.
I can't believe that. Because
I can. Did you not hear what Chisora was like on stage with me?
I did. Oh,
yeah, I
man.
can certainly understand that.
As soon as I seen you two, I was like, he's going to announce it. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, when he's talking about contracts on stage and money, and they're supposed to announce it that day or at least a few more days. Chisora's, if the numbers on the check don't match up with the numbers in his brain, he ain't fighting you.
And that's the problem. Yeah. I mean, there's talk that date, December the 13th, because first it was a town, but then it was Derek Chisora. There's talk they might scrap that date altogether.
That's a shame.
Which is a shame. I was going to say, which is a shame, because then it's like, well, the can's kicked down the road for a town. Now it's kicked down the road for Chisora's retirement. And like, what do you do? Do you just hope and pray that you can get Dillian Whyte or Jarrell Miller over the line for next year and then have to just go through all that again?
The people that I feel most sorry for, and no one seems to speak about those, is Frank Reno, again, has got the biggest stable in British boxing, right? It's the guys that would have been given a run out on that card.
Exactly.
In the lead up to Christmas, you get a nice little Christmas payday. There'll be fighters that have been speaking to their managers and like, okay, look, there's a December 13th card, which we're going to try and get you on that card. I feel sorry for those guys. Mm-hmm. And I hope that even if they scrap the pay-per-view idea of a card, I hope that they can still just have enough to put a card on. Just a card.
Yeah, I've heard rumours of some fights that are maybe going to be on the undercard. And I think that it wouldn't not pay-per-view worthy, not in the slightest. But they could do, maybe not in the Co-op arena, but they could do maybe in Telford or somewhere like that, a decent-sized arena.
Yeah.
Get an undercard out, get the fighters out before Christmas and have a good Saturday fight night.
Yeah. I do sort of wonder who Chisora fights now. I
mean, that's just the names that were there.
He can kind of fight anyone.
By one. I know.
Like when you think about it, apart from AJ, Fury, Usyk, Wardley.
Ward, yeah.
Couldn't fight Wardley. No, I don't want to see that. Like, Chisora could kind of fight anyone, to be honest with you.
But the prices have to match what Chisora wants. And that's where it gets difficult.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you're hearing pay-per-view and you're hearing, like, say what?
If not White, and it looks like that's done now, that ship has sailed, who would you want to see him in the ring with for the final one? And he's confirmed it is the final one.
It is the final one. That's a good question. I wouldn't necessarily mind the Dylan White fight. I think it would be, just for me personally, I think they're both at that same stage in their careers. Let them have it.
Yeah.
It'd be good fun. I would do that fight.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that either. I wouldn't mind Jarrell.
I wouldn't mind that
because I
either.
know what that means. But I would prefer... Jarrell and Chisora are too friendly for me now. So the press conference... I see them backstage and it's all friendly. Even on stage, it's
Funny
friendly.
games with the two of them. Yeah, Dylan White and Chisora wouldn't be.
They just have this thing where, you know, they just want to really... They don't like each other. I don't care how friendly they are. It's almost a bit like, you step on my toe and there's a problem. So I kind of don't mind that. I want to wrap up and talk about a couple of quick fire stories. Gervonta versus Jake Paul off. Good.
It is good because it was a horrible... I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. The reasons for it, I won't go into them, but I can understand that they don't want any of that.
No, well, he's been... What has he been charged with domestic violence or...
There's allegations.
Allegations?
There are allegations at this minute in time.
Yeah. There's always something with Gervonta Davis.
I was literally going to say, I mean, every single year, it just seems like there's something.
Something.
Every single year. The year he fought Ryan Garcia, he had a fight in January that year, and there was more issues with this, that, and the other. There's always something. There's always been something with this guy.
Yeah, he's clearly a very troubled individual, and I don't think people... Obviously, you just associate the fact that he's got money, and you think that almost removes the trouble. Where this guy's from, where he's grown up, where he was born and where he grew up, yeah, I've been there. Like, money don't remove you from that unless you're around great people. I don't know who he's around, so hopefully he can get the help he needs. He does need help, by the way.
Oh, he absolutely does.
He does need help.
Because it becomes a point now where it's like, all right, this is happening every year.
Yeah.
This is frequent. There's something amiss here. You need to sort yourself out.
Yeah, no, and hopefully he does. Tank. Jake's trying to get anyone to fight now.
Yeah,
Francis Ngannou, Ryan Garcia, AJ.
We're hearing AJ again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure for Eddie Hearn, that would be music to his ears. Yeah, do the AJ in December.
Bigger fight.
It's a much bigger fight. If he fights Jake Paul in that exhibition they talked about all this time, maybe Eddie Hearn would have to, just admit defeat and say, fine, it happens on Netflix, but it's an absolute king's ransom.
It's yeah. Oh,
it's a king's ransom.
Yeah, it's... If I'm AJ... Like I remember saying at the time, like, don't do it. It's rubbish. Doesn't help your career. Ade, shut up. You're getting gifted 70, 80 million for a sparring session.
And it would do whatever views Tank Davis versus Jake Paul does, triple them for AJ.
It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
I know it would. It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, I think it would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
It would do much bigger.
Yeah, because every single man, woman, child over here will watch it.
Everyone over here would watch it. The fact that it's a heavyweight, it's not a lightweight.
Yeah, it's
People
a fight he's supposed to lose. Because everyone wants to see Jake Paul get chinned, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's ultimately what we want to see.
That's what everyone wants to see.
So there'll be a queue of people queuing up with their Netflix account, just waiting to see if this big monster can chin him.
Yeah, we see the face-off between Tank Davis and Jake Paul is literally having to bend down. He'd be looking up at AJ, and people would be like, oh, hang on, now we're talking.
Now we are talking, so hopefully we get an announcement. I know Jake says he's going to fight in December, so hopefully it's an announcement of someone. I have a feeling it will be Francis Ngannou, which I'm not mad at, if I'm honest with you. That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
That would be,
Would Jake start as favourite to beat Francis Ngannou?
Hell no.
You'd have Francis Ngannou, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Hell no, I wouldn't have Jake favourite to beat Francis Ngannou.
Don't know.
I think Ngannou would ragdoll him. Don't know if he'd necessarily knock him out cold or anything like that. Because if AJ hit him with imagine the right hand he hit Francis Ngannou with, good Lord God. No, don't even think about that. But Ngannou, I think, bigger, stronger, I think he'd flatten him.
Bigger, stronger. He's the better boxer.
He is the better boxer. He's decent. Oh, Ngannou, I think.
Ngannou's a better boxer?
Yeah, slightly. Paul does make mistakes.
Ngannou's just massive.
He's huge.
He's massive.
And
he's
the
massive.
strength he has.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, I want to end on this. Talking of massive, Eubank Benn 2. Which doesn't feel quite massive.
I talked about that in a separate video. Like the first fight, we couldn't wait for it because there was the egg, there was all this. This one just feels okay. It's less than a fortnight away, but it's just happening. It's weird, and I'm looking forward to the fight, but there's something missing. I don't know what it is.
No, you're right. Sometimes I always feel like when there's fight cards in and around it, and this one should be the shining fight card, but because of Fabio Wardley Parker, because of maybe what happened with Buatsi and in the way in which that fight was scored, I almost feel like there's so much news. Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis, it's almost getting lost a little bit.
It is, because in April was when the first fight happened. There wasn't really much happening that month. It was really kind of, I don't even think we had a rematch. I think that was the only real big show we had that month. So everyone was focused on it. We didn't know what was going to happen with the weigh-in and stuff like that because we knew the rehydration clause. We still don't know what's happening with this one. And everyone was just focused on it. Whereas this time, I think it's like, all right, Eubank won, and then there's this, and it's just like, okay. I think even the Morgan show they did together was something.
Yeah, and then also Piers Morgan.
Yeah,
you're
Piers
right.
Morgan,
I forgot
I think
about
that even helped it.
And then obviously the week after you've got Benavidez Yard. So automatically everyone's thinking about that card as well. Like, okay, 22nd of November.
And because that card's so good.
Phenomenal.
It's so good.
best
People are
card of the year.
literally looking at that and thinking, I can't wait for that card. Oh, Ben Eubank too.
Yeah. And you know what it is? I just felt like number one was just the perfect storm of events. It was the greatest. And it was always going to be difficult to, I remember this saying to myself, the script writers are going to have to come up with something genius to top that. Like the egg slap, the press conference, the fine, the dad, everything about it was just sensational. Even the fact that there was no face-off because Eubank refused to do the face-off, that almost added the intrigue to it as well. Undercard was strong. Some good fights in the undercard. Vidal Riley, Chef Clark. Remember, like it feels like it just had everything to it. And this doesn't seem. The face-off's out, isn't it?
Not that
It's
I
not
know
out
of.
yet. Okay. Yeah.
I think it might be out this week, but
Maybe there is a ramping up this week. Then maybe there
I
is a
hope so,
ramping
because
up.
there needs to be honest with you, because I am feeling that as well. That it's big fight, but it's just not feeling the same as it was the first time.
Yeah.
It really doesn't, and I don't know why. Maybe we think it's going to be the same outcome, Eubank winning, maybe clearer. Maybe it's because it hasn't had the egg slap, the drama.
Even the dad. Remember the interview of Seconds Out when he was doing the walk for. Who did he? Was it a Michael Watson walk? And that's where we heard from Eubank, and he was saying his son's a disgrace.
Oh yeah,
So
Eubank
that was
saying
around this
Eubank
time.
Senior saying all that. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
he's like, oh my God, Eubank Senior's angry. So it was just perfection. So who knows? There might be some drama in the next. I start fight week on Tuesday, and I think that's the arrivals. Grand arrivals is Tuesday. Yeah, Wednesday's the public workout. I have a feeling that something will happen then.
You think so?
Yeah, because both of these guys understand the job.
They
They both understand exactly what their roles are, and their roles aren't just to do a Saturday night fight. The roles are to sell the shit out of this in the lead up to it. I can't even remember what's the undercard again. Oh yeah,
Catrol Usman.
Catrol Usman, good fight.
It's a decent fight. That's a decent.
There's
fight.
another one.
There's a
Gilly,
Sam
Ishmael
Gilly,
Davis.
Ishmael Davis.
Good fight.
And then there's a heavyweight fight.
Yeah,
Richard
Reactor
Reactor
Welch.
Tom Welsh.
Yeah.
I think that's it. There might be Adam Azim.
Adam Azim. And by the way, Adam Azim's fighting
Scooby, yeah.
who's a good fighter.
Yeah, Kurt
He's
Scooby.
a good fight. Yeah. Kurt Scooby fights on the OTX cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the worst card.
It's not as good as the first undercard, because that first undercard was pretty damn good. That was a pretty damn good undercard. This isn't bad, don't get me wrong. But, you've Yard Arthur, you'd CBS versus Brandon Glanton.
Yard
You had
Arthur,
those.
yeah.
There was something about that undercard that made you want to watch the fights. Whereas I will watch these fights, but you're kind of like, okay, they're not as enticing per se as that one.
It'd be interesting to know. Again, look, I think we look at this so differently to casual boxing fans.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas we're like, they're like, I don't care.
Oh, yeah, they're
It'd be
just like
interesting to
main
know
event.
if this does more pay-per-views than the first one, which I believe did, what, half
I
a
don't
million?
think it will.
Okay.
I think it'll be close. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to tank or anything like that. But I think the first one had so much drama, suspense. Everyone just bought it because it was like, I have to buy this. The egg slap, take my money.
Yeah. Okay. Are you doing a live watch along for it?
Oh, hell yeah. Of course.
There you go. A bit of news. G-Man is doing a live watch along. So make sure you tune into G-Man's live watch along, and only G-Man's as well. There you go. All right, guys. Thank you very much. As always, thank you for watching Ade and G-Man. I don't know. I think we've gone past 30.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Easily,
Oh,
but
God.
32.
Easily gone 30. Yeah, we definitely gone past 30.
Have we gone past 30? Have we gone past 30? As you guys probably heard at the start, I didn't say undisputed, obviously, because as you guys know, we're no longer with undisputed. There could be another channel, another sponsor coming very, very soon. So watch out for that. You guys might be excited about that one. But for now, though, do the usual stuff. Like, share, leave a comment, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next week. Peace.